Hiya!
Hello!
Welcome to the Geeky Girls Knit and Cross Stitch podcast / FlossTube. I'm Cece, also known as Java Pearl.
I'm Danielle, known as Dammy's Doodles.
And we're glad to have you today. Today is Thursday, the 6th of February, 2020, and this is episode 382. We'd like to say a big welcome back. We love you guys, to all our returning viewers, and a big hiya to any new viewers. Thanks for giving us a shot. We hope you enjoy the show. So we had a change in plans, and I did not end up going to Portland today. So I came to Seattle, and you get both of us on a podcast / FlossTube. So, Dammy, if somebody is not a member of our Ravelry group, what should they do and why?
You should join and introduce yourself in our introductions thread, because you'll get a shout out on our next episode, and you'll be able to participate in all our longs and giveaways.
That's right. Well, we have quite a few things to talk about today, so we probably should get started. Here we go.
And now we're going to talk about what is on her needles.
So the only knitting thing I've been working on this week is these. These are my Sending My Love to Katie slippers. I'm making these for my bestie to send in a care package to her. This is the Bed Peds pattern by Yvonne Mendelsohn. I have just converted it to be toe up instead of cuff down. I'm on US 5's 3.75 mil needles and US 7's 4.5 mil needles. And the yarn is Uru Yarn Sugared Worsted in the Roses colorway. Slipper 1 is completely done. Slipper 2 is about halfway done. Yeah. So, but as you may have seen on social media, I fell, what was that, Tuesday?
Yes. Tuesday,
and hurt my wrist, and so I'm being very limited of what I can do craft-wise. I am 99% sure it's not broken. I think it's just a sprain, but it is limiting the amount of crafting I can do because pain. So I haven't worked at all on the Dr. Hub's Valentine's Day socks. I told him he's probably going to get them late, so he's fine. He doesn't care as long as he gets socks. So that is everything that I have worked on, except for I finished something. So let's move on to the next segment.
now we're going to talk about her finished project.
Yes. So here's this week's preemie hat. This is the light in here really washes things out because it's a whole lot brighter. This is my 5th preemie hat for the year. This is my top-down preemie hat pattern that you can get for free on Ravelry on US 6's 4 mil needles, and the yarn is Brene Softy Baby colors in the pink rainbow colorway. That's probably truer to the color, like back there. There you can see kind of all the colors that are in it. I was like, oh, I'll do pink because February is Valentine's Day month. So I need a pink cat. So number 5 for the year. Working through some stash. Using up leftovers, as one does. And that's the only thing I finished this week. So we should move on to the next segment. And now it's time for FlossTube. Dammy, what are you working on?
Look at all this progress I've made in the last 5 minutes. It's
been midterms week, so.
This is the Madame Leota Tomb Sweet Tomb pattern from the Witchy Stitcher, and I'm making this for my friend.
And it's from the Haunted Mansion.
Yes.
So it says Tomb Sweet Tomb, and then it has Madame Leota below it.
No, it does not say that.
It doesn't say bop. It says
No. Stop.
Would you like to say anything else about that?
No.
Okay, let me tell you what I've worked on this week. First up is my Emily's House, which is a pattern by Lindy Stitches. And I made a lot of progress on this week, Dammy. Look.
House.
So, I'm working on the house. I wanted to get all the outline of the house done first, and then I'll go back and fill it all in. Mm-hmm. So there's that.
Our house in New Orleans.
No. Our house is very,
not the one you heard about.
I don't know that one.
House of the Rising Sun.
Oh. Sorry. And then the next thing I've been working on is my Silver Creek Samplers, my Christmas list. And I worked a little bit on this last night at knitting group. So I finished Christmas Blessing, and then I've started on the house underneath the reindeer, because it says flying reindeer, so the reindeer's flying over the house. So I've just worked a little bit on that one. And then my other thing is my Mill Hill kitty ornament. That's what it looks like. And
That's anime eyes.
look.
I'm
trying to move the floss.
It's poisoning me.
It's not poisoning you. So I got a lot of the gray done. I got the eyes done. I'm working on the hat. Dammy does not like the eyes.
They're anime eyes.
Even
anime cats don't look like that.
It's a very cute pattern. And it will look very cute hanging on our Christmas tree. So I wanted to tell you, I'm scrolling over here so that I can show you, or not show you, but get the information so I can tell you. So I have joined the Semi-Sane Stitchers group on Facebook, and am doing a couple of their challenges. One is called Map Your Literary Journey, where you like pick a book and then you read it and you stitch 25 stitches per page. So I'm working on, you can do up to 20 books in a year. So I am working on the first one, but then I'm also doing what they're calling their background certificates, and I earned 3 certificates. So the first one that I earned was for doing 537 stitches, which is the year AD that the Hagia Sophia in Istanbul, Turkey was built.
I think you mean Constantinople.
Constantinople. I also earned, I did 775 stitches, which is the total number of rooms in Buckingham Palace in London, England. London. And I did 1,800 stitches, which is the approximate depth in meters of the Grand Canyon in the USA.
Arizona.
So, you can double dip stitches. So, these stitches are the same stitches that I'm using for the book. Mm-hmm. So, but there's like, I think there's like 23 different ones where you can earn certificates. Some of them are a whole lot of stitches that I probably will not accomplish.
Ever?
Well, I think it's just for this year.
Oh, well, maybe you can.
So I'm started lower.
Is one of the numbers like a billion or something?
No, I think the biggest one is like 60,000 or something.
You can do it. If you can knit a 50,000 stitch sweater.
Yeah.
I mean, 100,000 stitches.
But
That's what your average is.
It takes a whole lot longer to knit 50,000 stitches. No, I mean to stitch, cross stitch 50,000 stitches than it does to knit 50,000 stitches.
You can do it.
We'll see. I thank you for your confidence in me. We shall see. And I think that's everything for this segment, but we do have cross stitch stuff in the next segment in Yummies. So stick around. And now it's time for our favorite part of the show, Yummies. What are Yummies, Dammy?
Yummies are our current favorite things, things we like, things we want to talk to you about.
Yummies. The first Yummy for this week comes from Carrot Top Paper Shop, which we love. She's on Etsy. She's linked in the show notes. Be the heroine of your life. I ordered some stuff from her to send to my bestie Katie in her care package, but while I was there, I also ordered her one of her brand new stickers, her Anne of Green Gables Dreamer.
Oh, that's it.
And it's adorable.
You showed it to me already.
I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Mm. And do you remember last week I told you that I almost bought some stickers at Michael's and then I didn't end up buying them?
No. You showed me the ones you did buy.
I did show you the ones I did buy, but I bought the other ones that I told you about that you don't remember because they had another coupon. I bought these ones.
Coffee is...
Oh,
the beer ones.
The coffee, cocktails, wine, and beer. Coffee is always a great idea. Coffee in the AM, cocktails in the PM. I don't give a frap. Wait, let me find the one that I really, really like. There we go. My birthstone is a coffee bean. There's lots of cute ones in here. I'll have to give the beer ones to my friend Janine. They brew beer. I went to her house this week. I will tell you about that. Oh, there's tea in there as well. I'll tell you about going to her house later because we watched a movie. My blood type is tea. Haha, here we go. Salt and lime, it's margarita time.
God.
Save water, drink wine.
Is this not supposed to be family friendly?
It is family friendly. I'm not telling children to drink. Oh, come on, Danny. Okay. So there is a lovely floss tube called the Top Knot Stitcher. Her name is Abby. And I want a giveaway from her. Let me show you her. She'll be linked in the show notes. Her shop on Etsy. But I won a prize from her that I'm going to show you in just a second. But she was so kind and generous that she also sent a prize to Dammy. Because she's just very sweet like that. So these are needle minders. This is the one that I won, the orange background, this color orange is my second favorite color. Pumpkin orange with a white cat, and then this kind of patchwork cat needle minder for Dammy.
I'll get a patchwork cat.
Here you go.
Patchwork cat.
Don't eat it. It's not to eat.
It's beautiful.
So thank you, Abby. And she has a lovely floss tube as well, so you should watch it. So I joined a fabric club.
Oh.
I thought I told you about this.
No.
Oh. I joined it with my friend Becca. So,
Oh. Okay.
yes. So this is from Fortnite Fabric. And we ordered the neutral club, which they're also calling the mushroom collection. They had a colorful club. And I was like, oh, that's all great and good. But like, what am I going to stitch on a bright purple piece of fabric or something? Well, but like the stuff I have, like most of the patterns I have will look better on a neutral than some random bright colorful piece that I don't know for sure what color it's going to be. Whereas the neutrals, the mushroom collection. So I am getting the 28 count even weave fabric, and this is January's fabric, and it is the Alba White Truffle mushroom. So there's, you can see, it's really washing it out. That's a little better. You can see some of the darker blotches in it. They've already shown us what February's looks like. It's the Hen of the Woods mushroom. And it is beautiful. It's a darker fabric. And I'm very, very, very excited for it. So, and then the last thing I want to show you, which I'm not going to show you everything in here because some of it is not safe for children, not safe for work, etc. But
because it has language, not because...
because of the language. But this is a book I picked up last night from Barnes & Noble at Knitting Group. This is Feminist Cross Stitch, 40 Bold and Fierce Patterns by Stephanie Rohr. And it starts out with a introduction to cross stitching. Let me show you just some of the patterns that I can show you. I have to be careful because the patterns are on almost all these are on the opposite page. So there's this one called Believe Women. This would be adorable in a little girl's nursery.
Mm.
Though she be but little, she is fierce. Okay, I have to tell you about this one. This is hysterical. Okay, so let me show it to you and then I'll tell you the story. To do, speak out, take up space, practice self-care, show support. So there was this lady stitching this, and she'd started at the top, she had done to do, she had done speak out, she had done take up space, she had just started on practice self-care. Her toddler found scissors and cut the fabric. So, of course, she was just like, but what she ended up doing is she marked out the part of practice self-care she had done, and she stitched hide scissors and framed the whole thing with it being cut up. It was funny. I was like, okay, well, that is a good way to recover. This one is Strong Women, May We Be Them, Know Them, Raise Them. Let's see. This one, I love this one. Don't Tell Me to Smile. I would do it in different colors probably, but I think that one's really nice. Consent is Required. The borders on these are just lovely. There's some that I don't know that I can't show you this one, but it's totally from My Favorite Murder. And, there's some that the borders if I don't happen to like the pattern, the borders still are beautiful. This one, When They Go Low, We Go High. She was warned, she was given an explanation, nevertheless she persisted. This one, this is probably my favorite one. It comes out of the suffrage movement, and it's Deeds, Not Words, with sunflowers. Which y'all know I love sunflowers too, but sunflowers in the U.S. were a popular symbol of the women's suffrage movement. And then I kind of really want to do this one. Cats, Not Catcalls. I love this one. This one's called Tools of Resistance. And then this one is stunning. This is a Rosie the Riveter. And it's a large one, like it fits in it's meant to fit in a 9-inch hoop when stitched on 16 count Aida. So that's just a few of the patterns in here, but yeah. Definitely check it out if it's something you're interested in. Like I said, some of them I probably wouldn't stitch, but I really like some of them. I really like the borders on, so I might use the borders and do something else, because there is some like small quotes and such that I've been wanting to stitch, and I've been saying, oh, I need to find a border to go on them, so I might modify some of them like that. So we'll see. But I thought that was a really cool book, and I was glad I could pick it up last night at Barnes & Noble. So do we have anything else?
No.
Okay. Well, then let's talk about hashtag GGKCraftyPad. What is it, Dammy?
It stands for Geeky Girls Make Crafty Photo a Day Challenge. We have a list of photo prompts for each month, so you take a look at the prompt for that day, take a picture related to it, and post it anywhere you like. But we pick our favorites from Instagram.
Yes. And this month is Alphabet Soup. For 26 out of the 29 days of the month, a letter is assigned to the day in alphabetical order. It's the Valentine's Day and the 28th and the 29th don't have letters because there's not enough letters in the alphabet. So there's other prompts for those days. So what are we about to show them, Dammy?
2 photos from us that we liked and 5 photos from other people that we liked.
Here come the photos. Great job. Yay. It's never too late to join in. You take a look at the prompt for the day. Today is A, B, C, D, E, F. You interpret it however you wish. We're very cheater friendly on this. You post your picture on Instagram. Make sure in the caption you use hashtag GGKCraftyPad because that's how we find your photo. If you have a private account on Instagram and you're participating in GGKCraftyPad, make sure that Dammy's Doodles is following you. Just send her a message because otherwise we can't see your photos. So, yeah. And yours might get chosen. Upcoming events, just our regular Monday night Kitsap cross-stitching group in Silverdale, Washington, and our Wednesday night Kitsap Knitwits knitting group also in Silverdale, Washington. That's all I think for the moment. So I think we are ready to move on to the next segment.
And now we're going to talk about what we are reading, watching, and listening to.
You're up first, Sammy. What are you reading?
I've got Cymbeline by Shakespeare on hold because I was reading As It Is in Heaven and The Shakers of Mount Lebanon will hold a peace conference this month, both by Arlene Hutton.
What do you think of the new one?
It's good.
Yeah. Yeah, it was interesting to read about it because you see that title and you're like, what? But when I read about it, and the SPU is doing this as a play later this year, I was reading about it on the SPU website, and then I saw the link to the
New Dramatist Playworks.
No.
Big Bridge Consortium.
The Big Bridge Consortium, and read about that, and I was like, okay, that's really kind of cool. So, it's a consortium of college theater programs that are working together to,
Plays that converse with interfaith dialogue.
yeah. So, that's really cool.
And I'm also reading The Glass Scientist, which is a webcomic by Sabrina Katungo. I also read The Communist Manifesto by Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels.
That's not on the show notes.
No.
I assume you read that for your UCOR class?
Yes.
Was it just so exciting?
Mm-hmm.
Did it just keep you awake?
Oh yeah, working men of the world unite.
Okay. Well, I'm assuming with all of that reading that you are getting your 15 minutes a day in?
Yes.
What am I referring to?
The January, February, March RAL read along.
We should record.
I'm tired just thinking about it.
We should just record this and just play it every week. So this is a challenge for you to read 15 minutes a day every day. I don't care what you're reading as long as you're reading, and audiobooks do count. There's the seasonal alongs as well as the year-long challenge where you earn entries into our 3 grand prize giveaways that will happen at the beginning of 2021. There are other ways also to earn bonus entries. All the details are in the Ravelry group as well as in the show notes.
GeekyGirlsKnit.com.
Yes, let us know if you have any questions. Okay, I'm scrolling. So I can tell you what I read this week. I am continuing to reread Book 5 in the Harry Potter series by J.K. Rowling, The Order of the Phoenix. And ironically, Dammy, the chapter this week was called The Order of the Phoenix.
Okay.
So I'm rereading this along with the Harry Potter and the Sacred Text podcast and Switch and Flick and All Potter podcast. I also started reading a book called The View from Rock Bottom, Discovering God's Embrace in Our Pain by Stephanie Tate. I've been following her online, and finally the library got a copy of this in for me. She is disabled, and she's an advocate, and she wrote this book about her journey, and it's not a book of, okay, well, all things are well and good now, I'm better or whatever, but it's about the journey. Mm-hmm. So I finished reading chapter 2 last night, so I just got it on Tuesday, I think. before I fell. And then fiction-wise, I finished reading books 2 and 3 of the Illuminae File series by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. Highly recommend them. Really enjoyed them. They are kind of science fiction in space, but it's all told via IMs and memos and like transcripts of conversations and like video surveillance transcripts, and it was a very, very good series. They have another series together that I think only the first book is out, and I'm on the wait list for that one. I finished listening to book 2, and I'm listening to book 3 of the Charlie Davidson series by Dorinda Jones. This is about a woman who is the Grim Reaper who is also a private detective. I finished reading book 13 in the J.P. Beaumont series by J.A. Jance, which is a detective series set here in Seattle. And I'm currently reading book 4 of the Detective Murdoch series by Maureen Jennings. The librarian was very surprised that they didn't have this book that was in the middle of the series when they have the ones before and after. Mm-hmm. I was like, yeah, I know. Y'all had to interlibrary loan it for me so I could read it. So, that is what I'm reading. Okay, watching. I woke up on Saturday. Yeah, Saturday with this longing to watch Anne of Green Gables and Anne of Avonlea, also known as Anne of Green Gables, the sequel. It was Anne of Avonlea when I first watched it. This is the one with...
My scissors are upstairs.
I have scissors. No, I don't. They're over there. This is the series with, I learned this weekend, her name is actually pronounced Megan Follows, and Jonathan Crombie. They are my only Anne and Gil. I have not watched any of the other Anne of Green Gables series because, no, I'm not going to.
Don't need to be mean about it.
I'm not being mean. I'm just saying because people keep asking me, and I'm like, no, I'm not going to watch it because they're my Anne and Gil and always will be. And I don't want Diamond, Sunburst, or Marble Halls. I just want you. I cried, like, a lot on Saturday while I was watching these.
You called me right after you'd been crying.
And she was like, are you okay? And the Dr. Hubs was like, tell her what you've been doing. I was like, yeah, they're really good. Now, the third one in this series, the continuing story, which has nothing to do with anything in the books, we'll never watch it again. Because it does not, no. So.
Look at this.
What?
It doesn't like this paper.
Oh.
It likes me though.
I'm sorry, it doesn't like your paper. The pen doesn't like the paper. Okay, and then I was telling you earlier, I went to my friend Janine's house this week because we watched one of the best Disney movies ever. Wild Hearts Can't Be Broken. Have you watched it? It's about a woman who dives on horses. And it came out in 1991. It was put into the vault in 1996. It is not on Disney Plus. She had to wait for it to become available in her Netflix queue, DVD queue. But we had talked about it, and she was like, when it comes, I'll tell you, and we can watch it. So I went over, and we watched it on Monday. I had like forgotten or whatever the connection that the lady who plays the lead in it is the lady from Burn Notice. So, and then I watched the Hallmark movie, A Valentine's Match. It was these two moms who were trying to get these high school sweethearts back together like 10 years later.
Oh, goodness.
It worked. Spoiler.
Of course it did.
It's a Hallmark movie. Of course it did. Okay. I finished watching series 13 of Silent Witness, which is kind of a British kind of CSI. It's in the forensic pathology unit. The Dr. Hubs and I finished watching season 1 of Wynonna Earp, and we're watching season 2, which this is a supernatural kind of, they classify it as horror. I wouldn't call it horror, but So they classify it as. I finished watching Arrow. I watched the special, which made me cry, and the series finale, which made me cry. Felicity came back. It was very sweet. There was lots of characters that we have known and loved and hated over the years. And yeah. I'm watching season 6, the final season of SCHITT''S Creek, because we are a family-friendly show. I'm watching season 15, the final season of Criminal Minds. There's 2 episodes that were on last night. I have 2 episodes to watch at home. I'm excited. The Dr. Hubs and I are watching season 1 of Star Trek Picard. Last week's episode was... it gave us information. It wasn't one of those, like, oh my gosh episodes. Like, the first episode was like, oh. This next one was like, it gave us some information, so we'll see what this third one is. So the Dr. Hubs and I will watch that tonight. I'm watching series 9 of Death in Paradise. The inspector left. He went back to the UK.
No.
I cried then too. We knew he was leaving though. They had like said that the actor was leaving the show by his choice. Watching season 15, the final season of Supernatural. There's lots of shows that I'm watching that it's the final season of Supernatural. Sam is a hero. He saved all these people, and yeah, it was lovely. Watching series 12 of Doctor Who. This was an episode about a virus called Praxis that was attracted to plastic.
Mm-hmm.
So, but they saved an astronaut.
Oh.
Series 9 of Call the Midwife, Season 13 of Murdoch Mysteries, and Season 1 of Prodigal Son. And then I've got some other stuff to watch that I just ran out of time to watch before I came today. Listening to, of course, the My Favorite Murder podcast, my CC's Faves playlist on Spotify. What about you?
Random Spotify playlists and campers.
Alrighty. Well, that is what we are reading, watching, and listening to this week. So I think we're ready to move on to the next segment.
And now we're going to talk about our December, January, February.
Walking in a winter wonderland.
Ow.
Tell
Yes.
us about it.
So this started on the 1st of December and it runs through the 29th of February. And it's for any project that you can knit, crochet, weave, spin, stitch, or sew that you can convince us is related to winter. There are a couple main rules for this owl. The first is that your project can't have been begun earlier than the 1st of December and then finished no later than the 29th of February. Each project that you knit, crochet, weave, or spin must be at least 20 yards. If your project is not at least 20 yards, you need to group it in a single post with other projects that together total at least 20 yards. For stitching and sewing projects, we leave it to your best judgment, but you can contact Java Pearl on Ravelry or email us at geekygirlsknit@gmail.com if you want a ruling. You can feel free to polydip in other longs as long as it fits in with other rules. That's totally fine. If you'd like to, we've got lots of lovely prizes on our screen right now.
It's the first podcast of the month.
No!
It is. Do you want to start or do you want me to start?
I'll start. So we have lots of lovely prizes, and it's the first podcast of the month. So we're going to talk about them in detail. But if you'd like even more details or to see where they came from, you can go to our show notes, geekygirlsknit.com. So first off, we have a Santa Claus hoop cross-stitch kit.
We have a pink cat and a fox stickers from Ainsley, who's the daughter of Yarn Enthusiast, and stitch markers made and donated by Teresa, who is Jazzy Creations, the Knitting Diva, and Made with Love stitch markers.
We have 4 skeins, and 4 winners will each win 1 skein of Vitellana Ascendance by Knit Crate in the Ancient Ruin colorway.
We have 2 winners will each win 1 set of Barmaid's Deodorant, Mini Lolo Bar, Mini Face Pudding, and Mini Lolo Lips.
And then 2 winners will each win 1 skein of Knitology Glowing Worsted in the C colorway.
Thank you so much to our donors.
Donors and sponsors. And if you'd like to donate a prize for our upcoming owl or owls, you can PM Java Pearl on Ravelry or email us at geekygirlsknit@gmail.com. You must be a member of the Geeky Girls Knit podcast group on Ravelry in order to participate. There's a hashtag if you want to tag your projects or post on social media. It's GGKWinter1920. The FO thread is going to be locked on the morning of the 1st of March, and
we'll draw for prizes on the next
and
podcast.
Any winners will be drawn for the next podcast after that. If you're a winner, you'll have 30 days to claim your prize, or you forfeit it. There is a chatter thread on Ravelry where you can chat about your projects. It's where I congratulate people who finish projects, but I also do that here. So, A. Bingham, Crafty Textile Lady, D. Door 4, DJ ID, Harps 57, I Knit Socks 2, Jodidiah, K. Say Mama, Knit Live Love, Knitter Chow, Little Angel SG2, Elma Call, Little Mermaid, Maria Wilhelmina, Meditative Crafter, Nicole S, Nikki Knits, Phoenix Fire, Shirley Knits 123, Silver Luna 2112, and VT Kimmy Kim.
Great job. You have a little over 3 weeks left to get your projects finished and posted, and you might be a winner. All right, let's move on to the next segment.
And now it's time for Ask the Geeky Girls, the part of our show where you ask us things and we try to answer them.
That's right. So, Davy, what is this week's question?
This week's question is from Diana, who is Crafty Mom 2010 from Texas. When you are knitting socks, how do you know how to modify the pattern? Like, how do you know how many stitches to cast on, how many stitches you need for the heel, how many decreases you need for the toe?
Okay, so this is kind of a hard question to answer because it's been through trial and error for the most part on our part. But okay, one thing I'm going to do, so our sock patterns, other than the 2 DK weight ones that you designed, one of the DK weight ones you designed are all designed for adult feet. 56 stitch, 64 stitch, and 72 stitch. 64 stitch tends to fit women's size like 7.5 to 9 or something.
You have a chart open that I think could tell you.
7 to 9.5. I think that's how we word it on our patterns. Let me double check. Sorry, I should have opened this and I didn't do it. We do it in circumference. So our 56 stitch pattern will fit a women's 7-inch circumference foot. The medium is an 8-inch circumference and the large is a 9-inch circumference. Dammy wears a size 8 to 8.5. I wear 8.5 to 9. I knit a medium 64 stitch for both of us. I just shorten it, make it a little bit shorter. So, okay, I'm trying to remember what all she asked. She asked how many to cast on, heel, and decreases. The heel is easy. The heel, if you're using our modified short row heel, you use half the number of stitches as you cast on, as you end up with for the full amount of the sock. So, for the 64 stitch sock, you are going to use 32 stitches to do your heel. For the 56 stitch sock, you're going to use 28 stitches. For the 72 stitch socks, you're going to use 36 stitches. So that one is easy. To decrease down for the toe, or how many stitches to start with to increase, so that you can increase if you're doing toe up, that kind of depends on personal preference. For me, I have a little more pointy toes. So I like to cast on 8 stitches on each needle and increase, obviously, to 64 stitches. I'm opening the notes app on my phone because I actually do the same thing for you and me both, as well as my bestie Katie. I cast on 8 stitches and increase to 32 stitches on each needle. So I cast on 16 total, increase to 64 stitches. For the Dr. Hubs, his toe box is wider. I cast on 14 stitches on each needle, and I increased to 36 on each needle, 72 stitches. For my bestie's husband, his is not as wide as Marissa's, but not as narrow as mine. So I cast on 12 stitches on each needle, and I actually increased to 34 stitches, 68 stitches total. So that means when I do the heel on his sock, I use 34 stitches. So you kind of just have to like play with that, but depending on how the shape of your toe box and what fits best. If you're unsure, I would probably start more with 10 to 12 stitches versus 8. But if you know what, I mean, if you're making them for yourself or you're able to see the person's foot that you're making them for. I'm going to put a link in the show notes to a website it's on the Craft Yarn Council's website, and they have a page where they have what they call the foot size chart, and they have a baby, child, youth shoe size chart, which tells you the foot circumference, the sock height, and the total foot length, starting from baby size 0 shoes up to youth size 6 shoes. And then they have the women's chart, which tells the same thing for women's size 4 to size 12.5. And then they have the same thing for men for size 6 up to 14. And so that will help you determine, so for example, I said for the women's medium, it's an 8-inch circumference. Well, that 8-inch circumference is the same as if you were doing a men's size 6 to 8.5 shoe. So that helps you there. So we've just learned over the years how to play with it. So like, for example, when I'm knitting socks for my besties boys, I've been able to figure out based on gauge and based on their shoe size how many stitches I need to cast on. Oh, or if I'm to how many I need to increase to if I'm doing toe up, or if I'm doing cuff down, how many I need to cast on to start with. I don't usually do cuff down though. I almost exclusively do toe up. Even though when we design, we try to do both if possible for each pattern. So, Dammy, do you have anything to throw in there on any of that?
No.
Typically you ask me if you're not sure. So yeah, I would just play with it. And see what you think. But I will put that chart in because that chart is very helpful in being able to see approximately what you need to do. And then for the length of the foot for ours, I don't have it with me. I should have thought to brought it, but I didn't. I have that wooden sockies, which is a ruler that you stick in the sock to be able to measure the length. And then I know how far I need to go before I start the heel. And so I'm able to stick that in and measure. But that website, the Craft Yarn Council website, for example, it tells you that for a women's size 7 to 9.5 shoe, the total foot length is 9 1/4 to 10 inches. And so that helps you when you know how deep your heel is going to be. And also you need to take into account negative ease, because you don't want to not have any ease in your socks, because otherwise they'll just fall off. If you have positive ease, they'll definitely fall off. So you need a little bit of negative ease in your socks. So that helps you figure out how long you need to knit the foot before you start your heel, or if you're doing cuff down, how far you need to go before you start your toe.
Yes.
Did that answer all the questions?
Yes.
Okay, I hope, Diana, that was helpful for you. Check out that link, and happy sock knitting. It's my favorite thing to knit. I am excited to get back to it as soon as I finish these slippers for Katie, and I'll probably be knitting a lot of socks this year. That's my plan. So, okay, Dammy, if somebody has a question for us, what should they do?
Go to our Ask the Geeky Girls thread in our Ravelry group and post it.
If you're not on Ravelry and you have a question, feel free to post it in the YouTube comments of the episode, and I will copy and paste it and put it over in our thread. And because we answer the questions in the order they're asked, unless there's a time-sensitive one, and thus far there has not been anything we have not been willing to answer, so feel free to ask away. All right, I think we're ready to move on to the next segment. We made it into the show. Yay!
I almost have a full word here.
Oh, now you have lomb. Lamb. I don't think we have any announcements.
No.
I think we should be on schedule to record the rest of the month. So we'd like to say a big thank you. We love you guys. To everybody who supports the podcast, no matter how it is you do it. But an especially big thank you to those of you who support us financially, because it does cost money to do a podcast. Between shipping and technology and website and behind the scenes and all of that. If you would like to support the podcast financially, there's 3 main ways you can do that. First is Patreon, which is a site where you pledge a certain amount of money each month to your favorite creatives. You earn rewards back based on the level you donate at. I will actually be doing Patreon rewards tomorrow. I normally do them on the 6th, but that's today. Well, we're recording, so I could not do them today. So I will do those tomorrow. So if you're expecting a reward, keep your eyes out for it. Dammy, if somebody would like to know more about it or wants to sign up, where should they go?
Patreon.com/geekygirlsnet.
What's another way?
There's a PayPal button in the sidebar of our website if you would like to make a one-time donation.
And we are amazon.com.co.uk and .ca affiliates. If you're going to shop on Amazon, if you go to our website first, click on the link in the sidebar or at the bottom of the show notes, and then do your shopping as normal. We will earn a little money back based on what you purchase. It doesn't cost you anything extra, and it's a great way to support the podcast by doing something you would be doing anyway. Well, with that, we're going to tell you goodbye. We hope you have a lovely rest of your week. There's lots of crazy weather going on right now. Mm-hmm. It's been snowing in Texas. So stay safe in the weather, and happy crafting, and we will be back with you again next time. Happy crafting. Bye. Bye.
Hello. Are you glad that Mama is home? Are you so glad Mama's home? Did Mama go bye-bye to see Dammy? Yeah. You wanna say hi? No? You wanna go back there?